Alright, let's play some more chess. The goal is to get 3 off through today as well. My opponent is 22-43 and he's playing Alekhine's defense. Let's play e5 and attack his knight. He moves the knight and then we're going to be playing d4 here. Now after d6, we should simply take on d6, and once they take, the goal is to take advantage of the fact that he's been moving this knight so many times. So I'm going to play pawn to c4, forcing his knight to move. And then once he moves the knight, I'll simply develop my knight to c3. Now from here, the goal is just to develop my pieces normally. Let's go bishop to d3. I'm going to continue with knight e2, and then I'm going to simply castle my king. Now, I don't want to play knight to f3 due to bishop to g4. That's usually a very annoying pin. He castles his king. I'm also thinking of queen c2 here. Yeah, let's play queen c2 because now I have two pieces targeting this h7 pawn. And, once he defends against that third, that's when I'm going to play knight e2. So he plays g6. Let's play knight e2. And then I'm going to simply get my king out the center of the board. Now, the goal is just to develop the pieces. Bishop to f6 did not necessarily threaten much because my pawn here is already guarded. This pawn here is guarded. And I was planning on castling my king next move. But since he's allowing me, I'm going to simply develop my bishop, gaining a tempo on his rook. He moves his rook to e8. Then I'll simply castle my king. So now he plays pawn to c5. Very interesting move. If I takes, he takes, then my rook gets the file, which is on the same line as his queen. So that has to be good. Especially since I have a lead in development, it has to be good. So let's just take. Once he takes, I'll play rook to d1. Now my rook is on the same line as his queen. Keep in mind that my development is actually complete and the guy still has two of his minor pieces on the back rank. How did that happen? I don't know. So I'm thinking of playing attacking moves like knight e4, hit the bishop, hit this pawn, maybe just rook e1 to get my last piece in the game. But in this position, I have what is called the initiative. And whenever you're playing chess, if you have the initiative, it's very important that you use it. The initiative is basically playing a lot of attacking moves back to back. So for example, after a move like queen c7, I'm thinking of knight to b5, which will attack the queen again. I'm thinking of bishop to f4 here. That attacks the queen. But then he has bishop to e5, knight here, it's the queen goes here. I'm not really seeing what I have. I mean, I don't necessarily think I can create like a huge advantage per se. Maybe I should play a4, trying to chase away his knight so that way my knight gets the square. Or I should play knight to f4 so that way my knight gets the d5 square. That's the move. Knight to f4. So the next move is going to be knight d5. And I'm also threatening to hit the queen and the bishop. Knight to e4 was also a good move. Very good move, by the way. But let's see how he responds. I mean, bishop to e6, we could take the bishop and claim that we have the bishop here. But I also like the idea. Yeah, so bishop e6, I like the idea of just playing knight to b5, attacking his queen. Again, we have the initiative, so it's very important that every single move that we play comes with an attack. So queen to e7 is my next prediction. And then after queen e7, I'm thinking rook to e1. Okay, queen e7. Okay, where's my next attacking move? Knight here is not possible. Oh, or I should take. If I take, he's not able to play queen takes due to the fork. So if I take, he's forced to take. Sack the bishop, takes, check. Has to do something. Let's take. Pawn takes is forced. Sack the bishop, takes, check. King has to go here. Oh, can I sack the bishop? Takes, sack the bishop. Bishop blocks, takes is winning. If the king goes here, I don't know if it works, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, let's sack the bishop. This has to be good though. It has to be good. The guy, he does not have two of his pieces in the game. So even if the sacrifice doesn't work, technically, I'm the one with more pieces in the game. So he moves the king. I'm already thinking of knight d6. Knight d6. If he goes here, then that's going to win the game. Obviously, if his queen takes, I go here. And if the king goes here, I take the rook and I'm winning the game. Knight d6, that's such a good move. Sometimes I don't know how I play chess this well. It's crazy. My opponent resigns. That's the first one off the books. Let's see what happened. My accuracy was 94%. Bishop takes g6 was a brilliant move. This was a very good game. My only mistake was knight to f4. Computer wanted me to play queen c1. But let's jump into the next game. My opponent is 21-45. He plays e4. Let's play e5. And then he plays knight to f3. I played knight f6 the other day, so let's play knight c6, knight f6 this time around. This is the Petroff. He's going for the two knights game. So, well, this is the three knights game, but I'm going to play bishop to b4, apply some pressure to his knight. And then after he takes, I'm going to simply castle my king. So my king is already out the center of the board. His king is still in the center of the board. He plays pawn to d3, guarding his pawn. He's basically trying to hold on to his pawn. Now, keep in mind, I am down by a pawn, but I'm going to play the move pawn to d5 because I want to burst the center open and attack his king that is in the center of the board. My opponent plays f3. Yo, my opponent just blundered a piece. That's crazy. I'm assuming you paused the video and you found it, but I'm just going to hit him with pawn to d3, obviously applying pressure to the pin piece. But here's what he thought is going to happen. He thinks after pawn to d4, pins the knight, he's able to play pawn to a3 and attack my bishop. But I'm actually going to pull my bishop back to d6 and attack his unprotected knight. So he's going to have two of his knights under attack. Let's play pawn to d4. That's crazy. How am I winning these games? Yo, these 21, 40. If you guys are, I've heard that their person's struggling to hit 1,000, 1,500. Guy just played pawn to a3, attacking my bishop. Now I'm going to play bishop back to d6. Now he has both of his knights under attack. This is called a double attack. So he pulls his knight back to c4. Let's just take the knight on c3. And just like that, I'm ahead by a piece. But he does have two pawns for the piece. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like the biggest advantage in the world. I like the idea of knight to h5 here. It threatens queen to h4. If knight h5, pawn g3 is something. I like the idea of just b5 here as well. Because it just attacks his knight. And then if his knight moves, I'll be able to develop my bishop. Yeah, let's play b5. And keep in mind, he does not want to trade because I'm ahead in material, so he has to pull his pieces back. So he moves the knight. Let's just develop our bishop. Now, I need to develop one last piece, and then my development is going to be complete. He plays pawn to g3. This is a very solid position that he has, though, but I'm ahead by a piece, so I'm not necessarily in any rush to win. I'm going to play pawn to c5 here, just to ensure that I have some possibilities of doing some pawn breaks. And then after he develops his bishop, I'll develop my knight. Now, all my pieces are developed. Pawn to f4, that's a nice move. I'm thinking of playing queen c7. And then if e4, nah, that's too risky. That's very risky, actually. I'm actually going to just move my bishop away. Maybe bishop back to e7. Bishop e7, if he pushes, take attack the rook, take knight, take rook, take. Yeah, let's just go bishop e7. Pawn e5 does not work. And after he castles, I'm probably going to play knight to b6. And then, yeah, so once he castles, we just need to play knight b6. So it's not necessarily over for him, but I am ahead by a piece. So I'm not going to try to do anything fancy here. I'm just going to maintain my advantage. Now, rook to b1 was 8. It is attacking my unprotected pawn, but I'm actually thinking of playing knight a5. But then he has bishop to d2 and guards it. And then my knight is going to be on the edge of the board. So let's just play a6, guard the pawn, keep them simple. I need to start getting my major pieces in the game. So, for example, queen c7, rook to d8, get as much pieces in the game as possible. I like the idea of playing pawn to c4, by the way, because it weakens his e4 pawn. Knight to f5, interesting move. I know he does not want to trade, so I'm not going to like move away my bishop or anything. I'm actually going to simply play rook to e8. Again, we're winning. We're not going to be doing anything fancy. Just ensure that we get every single piece in the game. So after he plays bishop e3, I'm going to pull my bishop back to f8. You know, bishops are still better than knights, so I don't want to give him my bishop. I may play g6 to chase away his knight, and his knight does not necessarily have good squares to move to. So if he has to put his knight on h4, then that's not a good square. And then I'm thinking of knight d5, and then if he takes, I take his bishop. But I still like pawn c4. There's just so much I could do. There's knight a5 attacking this weak pawn. So he plays queen to e2. No, I think it's definitely g6, knight back, g6, knight back, on push, on... Yeah, let's play c4. I have to open some lines. If the bishop takes, my queen is there. If he does nothing, I takes, and then my rook gets the c file. Pawn to e5 is something, but let's say I takes, he takes. Okay, let's take on d3 first. It attacks his queen, so he has to react to it. And Now I'm thinking of, do I trade here or do I play knight here? Because I'm ahead in material, it has to be good to trade pieces off the board. So let's take the bishop. If he takes with the queen, my knight also gets access to g4. Yes, I could take on d3 actually, because if, oh no, that's bad, because then I leave my knight unprotected. And that's so knight to g4 attacks the bishop. Maybe he plays bishop to d5. Or knight to d5 also attacks the bishop, but he's still gonna play bishop d4. So knight here hits the bishop. Bishop goes here. What to do? What to do? Okay, let's go knight d5. It's always best to centralize the pieces anyways. And then after he puts the bishop here, I could hit him with knight to a5, applying more pressure to this pawn. And then once he protects the pawn, I hit him with bishop c5. He decided to play bishop to d2, however. Now, if I check, he's going to block the check like this. If I play g6, he's still going to go there. So let's just use the time to get our least active piece, which is the rook in the game, attacking this weak pawn on c3. So again, we always want to target the weaknesses. And I'm ahead by a piece, so it's very easy from here. But we still want to ensure that we're targeting the weaknesses in the opponent's position. That looks like a free pawn. I'm definitely going to take that pawn. So he plays rook to b3, protecting this pawn and this pawn. But because this is the weak pawn, we want to apply as much pressure to this pawn. So now I'm going to play the move knight a4. Now I have 1, 2, 3 pieces applying pressure to his weak pawn. And then he plays rook to c1. So he's basically just defending. He's defending everything. And once I hit him with knight c5, now it's really over, because this is also a weak pawn. And I will be attacking his rook. And once he moves the rook, I'll just take on d3. So let's go knight c5. Maybe he pulls the rook all the way back, but I'll take on d3, attacking this rook. It's now just GG's. He didn't try to move away the rook. He just guarded the rook. So now I'm just going to take the rook. Now I'm just really ahead in material. And okay, the knight is on my half of the board. Let's chase out his knight. No, he puts his knight on d4, but because we're ahead in material, we're just going to play bishop to c5 here. It doesn't matter what he plays next. I'm just going to take the knight. We want to trade materials because we're winning. Now, he decided to play queen to e4, but that's a mistake. Because aren't I able to play knight f6? And if he takes, I take the queen. And then if the queen goes here, I play knight g4 and attack the queen. So I'm basically going to be winning more material. Now, this pawn is pinned, by the way. So once I play knight f6, if he takes my knight, I'll be able to take his queen. That's pinned. His knight is also pinned to the king. Now, if he moves the queen here, then the knight is pinned to the queen, but I'll be using a removing the guard tactic to win more material. And if he puts his queen here, then I take the knight and then take back on d4, and that's even more material. This is crushing. Queen to f3. Let's just take, check. Once he takes, I'll take here, check. He has to react to the check. He blocks with the bishop, but again, we're ahead in material. The goal is just to trade. So queen to d5 hits the queen, hits the unprotected rook. He's not able to take my knight because his queen is hanging. If he takes my queen, I take. So he pulls the queen back, guarding the rook. But now I'm able to play knight g4, attack the unprotected bishop. His queen is not able to take my knight because I'm going to take his rook. So he is still forced to move his bishop. Okay, so he took my knight. Let's just take his rook. This is not completely winning. There's not much he could do here. I'm just ahead by 6 points, but some persons just don't resign, which is fine. Okay, so f5 was played. He wants to play f6, maybe get his queen on h6 and deliver a checkmate, but that's never going to happen. Let's take the free pawn, attacking the unprotected bishop. His king is also very weak, so we're going to be going for some checkmate very, very soon. He finally resigned. We're now on 12-2. My accuracy this game was 88%. It was just a normal game. All my moves were good, except bishop to b7 was a mistake. I should have gone for knight h5 with the idea of queen h4. And a6 was also a mistake. I needed to play queen to d7 and guard the pawn. But let's jump into the third one. We're going for 3-3. My opponent is 2250. Let's go e4. We're playing against a Sicilian defense. Knight f3, pawn d4. That's how we play against the Sicilian. Take on d4. Knight f6 attacks my pawn. Knight c3 guards the pawn. And then he plays a6. We're going to be playing against a Nador. Let's pull the knight. Oh, no. No, that was bad. I'm distracted. I needed to play bishop to e3 first, but then it's transposed. It's transposed. Now I'll play f3. It is still the Nador. We just mixed up the move orders. Now bishop to e7. I'm gonna play queen to d2. He castles his king. I castle my king. And then he plays a5. So I almost lost a game. I think it was 2 days ago because I did not defend well against a5. Now I'm not sure. Is the correct move bishop to b5 here? Yeah, I'm going to try bishop to b5. a4 is not possible because my bishop guards it. Now he plays knight to a6, and I think the knight wants to go to b4. I would say we want to play knight d5 in some variations, but what I know is I definitely want to play king to b1 because my king is very safe on b1. And okay, knight c7 attacks my bishop. Oh, this is weird. If I pull my bishop back, there's b5, but then I'll just take. I'm thinking of bishop b6, but then he moves the queen. Bishop back, b5. Yeah, let's just pull the bishop back. And then if he plays rook to b8, I'll simply play knight to b5 and so prevent him from playing b5. But then he's going to be able to play a4. I can't believe I don't know how to play against this Nador stuff. Maybe if he plays rook to b8, I have bishop a7. And then after the rook moves, I have bishop b6. That should buy me some time. Turn to d5. Yo. Okay, so I may have to take. So no need to think too long about this one. I have to take. I think black is definitely better here. And regardless of how he takes, I think I have to take again. And then he takes, he's attacking this. I need to ensure that I don't get my bishop trapped with pawn to b5, but I also don't want to allow pawn to a4. My bishop is under attack, so I'm thinking bishop c5 here. And then if he takes, I takes and attack this. Yeah, it's getting very, very tricky. Bishop here, pawn b5, 2x push. Yeah, let's start with bishop c5. It's getting very, very tricky here. If he takes, I cut this bishop and I'm fine. If he wants to trade queens, that's on him because I don't really like my position anyways. Shot to b5. Yo, the guy just sacrificed the pawn. Well, I have to take, so let's not think too long about it. We have to take. And then after pawn push, I have to go here. Let's not think too long about that one either. Am I I should have took here first. I'm not focusing, yo. I'm not focusing, man. God, man. All right, let's play bishop to c6. Hit the rook, hit the knight. Maybe he's gonna move the knight and I'll take the rook. Oh, God, man. So if he moves the rook, I take the knight, I get back the piece. But he just needs to move the knight. Once he moves the knight, I take the rook. Okay, we have to play fast so we can at least try to win on time. Knight to e3, take rook, take rook. Okay, queen b6, I was not expecting. Oh, wait. Can't I just take the knight though? Okay, let's take the knight. Okay, let's take the knight. I need to focus. Let's take the knight. If he takes my bishop, I take here. I'm still ahead by a pawn. If he applies pressure to my pinned bishop, I could play c4. Or if he plays here, I could actually take the rook. And then if he takes my queen, I take back. But that's a bit too risky. Bishop to a3 is also a move. I just need to focus. Bishop goes here. I'll be forced to play b3 though, and that's going to be a checkmate. What the heck? Well, bishop here, maybe queen here. So he puts the rook there. That's still a checkmate. So I have to play b3, right? So let's not waste any time. I have to play b3. So he took. The question is, how do we recapture? Do we take with the knight? Do we take with the pawn? Do we take with the bishop? I'm thinking of taking with the c pawn, and then if he checks, I block. Definitely not taking with the a pawn. I mean, taking with the knight is also fine. I think I'm going to take with the knight. Nah, taking with the pawn makes more sense. No, let's take with the knight actually. Take with the knight. He goes here. Oh, I can't take with the pawn due to this. So I have to take with the knight. I need to be able to play c4 to protect my bishop. So if he goes here, I play c4, guard the bishop. I'm still ahead by a pawn, so I just need to defend. Can't believe I'm playing chess like this today. So I'm going to keep up the time because I need to be able to flag him if things get badly. So I don't want to be the person who has less time. Rook to d8 was expecting that. Pawn c4 is forced. Have to guard the bishop. If he checks, then king to a1. I don't check. King a1 is forced. King a1, queen takes, or is it king b2? King a1. Let's go king a1 for now. Yeah, let's go king a1. All right. I need to be aware of this. So queen to a6, then that's a threat. So if queen a6, I need to immediately play queen c3, and then I shouldn't be afraid of this. Queen a7, that does the same thing, but queen c3 guards it. Queen c3, that I'm not afraid of. My knight guards it. If he sat the rook, my queen takes. If he plays bishop here, that's a free pawn. And I am attacking this pawn. I need to get this rook in the game. This rook needs to be in the game. If he allows me to take his bishop, then I'll take the bishop. No, I'm defending like my life is on the line. His time is ticking, which is good. This is the time where I need to play a bit faster. If you're in a losing position, then you have to play a bit faster so that way, your opponent feels as if they have to play fast, and then when they play fast, they lose. Okay, what to do? Maybe he can't play f6. What is he gonna play though? What's my next move? Rook e1. I need to quickly play rook e1. He's using up his time, and that's good. Queen a6. Yo, that's a nice move. If I go here, he sat the rook. I take the queen. He takes, but he's still winning. He's also threatening to take my knight. Okay, let's say I take here. He sat the rook. What's the threat? He's threatening this. So I takes, king takes. Wait, I take, but then he has this. Yo, if I go, how do I protect the knight? I can't. No, I'm losing. If I takes, he goes here. Okay, I think I have to take. Takes, rook takes, king takes, and it's not mate on the next move. I have to do it. It's losing. So takes, I'm not able to take, but I take here. If the king takes, I take here. That's the plan. I'm also threatening to take and then take. That would also be nice. But then he's able to take. Yo. Okay, I'm ahead by 2 pawns. So if I have to sacrifice back material, then maybe I should just be down by a piece. So I need to play fast so that way I can at least flag him. He's finding good moves though. He's really thinking and finding good moves. I'm currently attacking his bishop. Bishop c2. Please don't find bishop c2. Bishop c2. Check. Bishop c2. Check. Takes. Rook takes. Rook takes. Okay, bishop c2. Check. King takes. Check. Rook takes. And then take on c5. And if the queen takes my queen, I take. I'm winning. I'm so strong. I'm going to take a pawn. He's going to take my bishop. I'm going to take his rook first. It's not a check, but he does not have any check. Oh, but he's able to take here. I'm just going to do it fast. If I do it fast, then maybe he thinks it's forced. Queen c7 check is also an idea. Like I take, after I take, I think he's able to take. Okay, so I take, and then he takes, but maybe I check and then go here. Yo, this is weird. What is this? If the rook takes, I takes, and I'm fine. He needs to take this. Oh, so now I take the bishop. He has no checks on my king. I'm ahead by 3 pawns. So that was a defense. He has to move the queen. He can't trade. And once he moves the queen, knight to d4, and my knight is doing fine. I mean, I need to get my rook in the game. And he has 1 minute 50 seconds. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm always losing. Okay, so the queen moved here. So he's still threatening to take. If I check his king here, he's going to block the check like this. So what if I play knight to d4? Knight to d4, he has no checks on my king, which is good. And knight to d4, I'm threatening to take his bishop. And if we trade the pieces off the board, I'm the one who is ahead by 3 points. The only downside of my position is my rook is not in the game. So if I'm able to get my rook in the game, I'm chilling. So he pulls his bishop back. I have a check, but he goes here. That check doesn't work. Let's get my rook in the game. He has no checks on my king. Rook e1. I'm also threatening queen to e7 check. He has 1 minute 20 seconds on the clock. We are cooking. Okay, queen e7 was played. So he defends against this. He still has no checks. I want to play knight to c6. Knight c6 wins the game because knight c6 attacks the rook and I'm threatening to 4. So if I play knight c6, he still has no checks on my king. Knight c6 wins the game. Yo, my defense is impenetrable. He has to move the rook. Now that he moves the rook, I can hit him with rook e7 check. And if he takes, I takes, and I'm winning. I can also just check, king move, takes, takes. Everything is winning. So check, king goes here, grab the queen. That's the move. Check. He's gonna resign. Ah, yo. Yeah, I definitely want to check this game review. He resigned. 3 of 3. Let's keep going. All right, where did I go wrong? 75% accuracy. My opponent played a brilliant move, queen to b6. Okay, how do I defend against this? So I should play a4, and then after knight c6, I should play king b1, and after knight b4, oh, I just played g4 and continue to play. Oh well, we won the game. See you in the next one.